Hello, this is that BMX guy. Finally, today, this RAM came in for that system. The plan is to install this RAM and then install other things. I have this 640 gigabyte hard drive that actually has Ubuntu 20 on it. This is the serial ATA cable for it. I am thinking of installing this CD-ROM. I don't necessarily need it in there. We'll see what goes on there. This is just the video card that's in there right now. The Zotac GT440 that has to come out. The card going in there actually is one of these GeForce GT1030. It's a nice little low profile 2 gigabyte card. I guess it's sharing memory. I'm not really sure how they work anymore. But this seems to work fine for lots of things. It doesn't need to be crazy fast. This is just a bracket to hold the hard drive in there. I'll show that as I'm installing it. So we have the system. The system is running. So I'll wait for the screen to turn on. Yeah, it's been running this as a heater. It kind of is nice to have a heater on. With OGR's 28, that Phenom II X4 does pretty decent output, considering that it's kind of 1/60 output of what's in the 3930K. But you know, I at least have it doing something, as it has Windows XP 64-bit edition on it. So we'll just flush some work. So the first thing I'll do is I'm just going to make sure the RAM works. And the best thing to do is just turn it off. It's the old Windows startup sound. So as I wait for it to finally turn off, it is now powered off. I just make sure it's definitely off. This requires 2 hands, so yeah, unscrew this, pop these little springed in clips, just pull that cover right off. That's kind of why I like these cases. They're a little bit simpler than other cases. So the RAM is just going to go right next to the other RAM. Hopefully it has the same numbers. We don't really know. It's kind of hard to see. Hopefully they go in without hitch. So the RAM, there's 2 of them. Right now there's 4 gigabytes in there, so we're gonna just add 2 more gigabytes. It is 64-bit XP. It should be able to read all 8 gigabytes. So I'll just tear this open and get the RAM out. So anyway, each RAM stick is in their own little plastic case, so you don't have to really worry about even the other static free bag. This just makes it easier. I actually had to get these from, well, I got these from Newegg, but they seem to came from China. Yeah, it was interesting. They were only $10. So expensive for this RAM, I couldn't believe it. I think that RAM was maybe $10 too. So I just didn't think I needed 8 gigabytes, but now the Linux operating system and running that video software, it's just so much better when I have more RAM. I'm going to eventually change the video card, obviously. This is a GT440. That's only 1 gigabyte. And then that hard drive is coming out. That's just a 40 gig hard drive. That's IDA. Now I was thinking, yeah, there's no floppy port. There's no floppy port in this motherboard. The DFI that I have at the apartment, that has a floppy port and an IDE port. It's interesting how lots of stuff just changed over It's just straight SATA, and you don't have floppy ports to, like, say, run on a boot disk. So yeah, anyway, I'll just get this stuff in there, and there you go. I got the RAM in there. They're all double-sided, so that's a good sign that they'll work great. The first one's gonna test to make sure the fucking thing boots. Yeah, I had to say something. So we'll just turn on while it's laying down, see if it starts. It's usually when you add RAM, it kind of may or may not matter. I haven't seen a bar like that for a while, but it's like that Windows 2000 bar. So as it starts, this is one of my older 2010 boards that I bought. I could even install something called, I don't know, it's like a Linux thing that runs off of a ROM chip that's on this Asus board. I don't remember what it's called, but it had its own little operating system built in. All you gotta do is install this in particular startup program, and it just works. It doesn't have any settings to stay, but it will work. So with the 8 gigs in there, first we'll just see how much RAM this says. It says 2.8 gigs RAM. Okay, so total physical RAM 8 gigabytes. So the RAM seems like it's in there. It should work fine. A quick test kind of seems to be just, you know, running this thing. If I had folding at home, that would be a good memory test. But if it just runs and doesn't have any problems, but yeah, it doesn't really increase performance in a sense, but it does seem to read all the memory. I can't even load anything because, like, the operating system is so old, Firefox doesn't support it anymore. There's really nothing on here. That's it. I don't know if I have any games. It's just kind of like a bare bones cruncher box. Yeah, so I got this drivers. So it reads all 8 gigabytes. That's what matters. So next stage is to change the video card and the hard drive to the modern SATA drive and the modern video card. I'm pretty sure both, well, at least the video card does not work with the Windows XP. At least I don't think it does. It might work with that driver that's in there, that old NVIDIA driver for the GT440, but it probably won't like it because it is a fairly recent card, like a couple years ago. It seemed like a lot newer when I got it, but it's now been 2 years, so it's getting old. So I'll just turn this guy off again. So we know it starts up and shuts down, and the RAM does work. There's no BSOD or anything. So let's wait for that to turn off again. We'll shut this off again. So I'll just get this out of the box. I'll kind of get the Zotex box on standby. And I'll be ready to start. Okay. The 1030 is out and ready. I'll unplug this guy. So the GT440 I had probably 10 years. As long as this motherboard. It was supposed to be like a home theater PC. That I just never really made into a home theater PC. Doing everything on one hand is always fun. There, at least it comes out. So you have this old, simple video card. Just looks like a GeForce 2. And you got this. That kind of goes in easy. Try not to touch anything. Yeah, found myself. So that's a nice low profile video card. When these came out, I was actually pretty impressed that they came out with something passive like this. At least EVGA. And I was thinking of maybe building another kind of home theater PC that's small, like a small motherboard. I bought a case that's by, I don't even know, but it's a small case. I'll work with the low profile video card you see there and that low profile sound card. I would still use the sound card over Realtek. I just don't really care for Realtek. With headphones like Realtek just don't really sound good at all. So yeah, that is ready to go in its little baggie. So I'll get that in the baggie. So yeah, my old faithful GT440 is a good test card, but I can use it with pretty much anything. There's a little tiny like micro adapter for HDMI. So that's pretty nice if I have a TV I have to use it with. Yes, that's in the box. The EVGA box ready to get this thing back in there. One hand. Let's see if I can do it one hand. I don't think I can. Stuff the bag in the finish. So, here it is. I think the packaging came a long way from early NVIDIA cards. Next stage in the installation upgrade is to put the 640 in there. Use this serial ATA cable, and I got to unscrew the hard drive. I don't necessarily have to take the hard drive out at all. I can just leave it there, but yeah, it's going to require two hands to do all that. So I'll just undo the cable, undo the hard drive. Yeah, so this is an old Mac store. I originally had two, but the second one went to my work, and it died in that computer. So the other 40 gig hard drive that kind of was a RAID clone was toast. These are pretty reliable drives. I know a lot of people hated them because they get hot. But you know, where it was located, the air just gets stuck right over it and it sucks the heat off it. These guys don't really get hot, the Western Digitals. This is a black edition. I had this for about 10 gigabyte or 10 years. The newest hard drive I have is in the other system, the 3930K box, and it has a 64 meg cache versus 32. The hard drives I had before this, they had a 16 meg cache. They just keep making the cache larger, and they're still pretty badass and fast. And a lot of people have to have their SATA drives, but they're really not that much. I mean, not SATA, SSD, and they're really not that much better. These will last forever. I don't have to worry about them randomly just not writing. Now I know they came a long way with SSDs, but you know, let's see them last 20 to 30 years like these guys like to do. So this is a bracket that will hold the hard drive into this bay, I believe is that one. And what it does is it just kind of sits there like that, and there's a screw that holds in the front, so it will just actually sit right there. The only real issue is it's right next to the stupid plug, so it makes it a little tricky, but it will work. It worked before. And that's just, I don't know what that is, caca or something. It was in the shed. I think I tried cleaning it off, it didn't come off, so it's just gonna have to be there. I gotta put that hard drive away. I just gotta take all these screws out of this. There's like 3 screws. And all 3 screws are what's needed to hold it into the bracket. So we got, or at least a couple of screws are ready for it. So we'll get them in there. Yeah, you don't have to watch this stuff. Okay, so Baxter is back in his bag. It is still a very workable hard drive, and if I have issues, I can always go back to using it. Because I like, you know, limited usefulness. So the hard drive has a little thing, and this gets pretty tricky. I don't know how I'm gonna do this with the wire in the way. Maybe I gotta pull the wire off. So we'll try to get that under. So we'll just make sure we're grounded. It just goes right in like that. There's a screw somewhere. And in front of here, it's kind of hard to see. There's a screw right there. I believe that's it. It's kind of hard to get that camera to help me. Obviously, this isn't going to be a one-hand job either. Okay, so the screw is in there. I'll just hand tighten it. It's very hard to get in here at the moment. I pretty much just tighten it a little bit. Normally there's a floppy drive that's in this opening that just snaps in, kind of a quick release. You can actually stick a couple more floppy drives. In this case, 2 CD-ROMs. There's only 1 CD-ROM. I was thinking of putting the other CD-ROM in there, but it doesn't really matter to me. So we got the 24-pin connector has to go back on, which is very fun, and that's 2-handed. Okay, so that's plugged in. Plugged in the SATA cable, the shortest possible SATA cable. It's kind of set up for the pigtail. This is the, I don't know. I guess I'm just going to use the right angled one. Here. Or I don't know. I don't use it right now. I'll use the straight one here. What's interesting about SATA cables is that they made them a mile long. I guess it doesn't matter too much. So down there is SATA 1 that I can't even focus on my own eyes. I believe SATA 1 is this guy. So let's just plug this in if it works. No, it goes the other way. That's why it ain't gonna work. Okay, we'll just leave the right angle on the actual drive. Okay, the thing about later SATA stuff and the older SATA stuff where it is straight out like this, the connectors just never line up right. Like, it really doesn't matter. I just did that. I mean, blocking off them. So yeah, we have the hard drive in there, 8 gigs of RAM. This is the front cover. It just kind of folds right in place. Guess I'll get that on there in a second. I guess it might cooperate with one hand. It did. Wow, I can't believe that. Okay, everything's in there. So, power the board. Lights on. Power the system. So now there's Linux on there. And we'll see if it lights this up, even starts, does anything. Okay, so Linux, or Ubuntu 20 was put on there a while ago. And it was set up for the computer to be the way it is. But I was having issues with like the power supply cutting out the hard drive and stuff, so we'll just see how this goes. It should just load. It sounds like the hard drive is working. And the main issue with Linux is that it always takes forever to load. And even if I hit escape, I don't think it's going to show anything. But the only reason the CD-ROM will go in is I just use this cable, or I don't even have to use, I can just use a static drive. Plug it in for the installation and just install and just take it off. I mean, I never really use the CD-ROM anymore unless I'm burning CDs. So it's kind of loading. The one thing about Ubuntu is that it seems to always make the arrow go at this corner, which is kind of something I never figured out why it always does it. So we have the login screen. It looks blue on the monitor. I mean, it's purple on the monitor as I look at it, but the phone here looks at it, it's blue. So this is 20. I already messed around a little bit. I got KDN Live on here for videos. So if I make a very long video like this one, I can edit it. If I don't even have to edit the video at all, I just don't. So the cool thing about the S20 is that I can pause the video. No, I might have been able to do that before, but it's the one thing I just noticed with this one. So I could just kind of make the video do whatever. There's no Wi-Fi card on here at the moment. I don't really intend on putting a Wi-Fi card on there. I kind of prefer a normal wired network. So with 8 gigs, we're just looking for a thing that shows me how much RAM is in here. 7.8 gigabytes, which kind of means like the graphics card is probably sharing some memory. Or who knows? I don't even know. So there's always an update every time I log on, which kind of is annoying. I think the only, you gotta do this every time, so. And yeah, I want to, what is that? Yeah, I don't know what it did. Why would I have a software update if it didn't have internet connection in the first place? Install. So what is on here? So I put the GIMP on here, the picture editor kind of thing. I have Lutris on here to run Battle.net. The only real issue is like it's really slow with Battle.net. It didn't seem like it installed Vulkan, so I'm not even sure it's going to work at all. I don't have Steam on here at the moment. I got Wine Tricks. I don't think I installed Steam. So that's up to date. KDN Live, it takes up a lot of memory just running it. And maybe when SSD will load faster, but I have a feeling it wouldn't be faster. It doesn't matter. The one thing about this operating system is it's just slow. So the video would be here, you would just take clips, just add them to here. And once they're in there, you can drag them here. You can make title clips for words. And before with Ubuntu 18, before I upgraded, I actually had, you know, a base format where it would have my ending, my title pages, all that stuff in here, because that's pretty nice to save. So you just load your original template of your videos. Let's say I had that thing where I'm looking like I'm riding down the road with the free wheel buzzing. I made that the ending. I would put that in some kind of template, so just load it up and it'd be on all the videos. So if I want to put it in there, I can. If I don't, I just don't. This video, it won't be edited. It will just be 20, I guess 30 minutes actually of video. So yeah. I usually always use the terminal to install stuff. Like I installed Wine through the terminal. I installed lots of stuff through the terminal. With this one, this is a sudo code, like sudo app install, app update, whatever. Normally in my home folder, which is what this is supposed to be, I would put games. So what is this? Yeah, I don't know what that is. Is it one? No. Okay. This is a key for something. I would put my pictures in here after a while. I just don't really care to do that at the moment. I just want it to be, you know, something where if you do get into it by hacking, there's nothing in here to look at. I always use Firefox, so it's not something new. I did say the video is supposed to be 30 minutes, but if I put Lutris on and run it, I could even search for Battle.net for Blizzard games. At least try to. There's Steam's on here too, ain't that interesting? Maybe I gotta add it. Add a new game. Battle.net. Change it a bit. Okay. Battle.net is kind of showing. Load. There we go. So you can install it if you have all the stuff running. is actually easier to do a standard install. It would just install it wherever. If it has a nice fast download, it will download it quickly. We'll just see if it has all its needed things. Balance of Overwatch tar. Okay, whatever. The thing I don't like about wine is like it's just buggy. Okay, it's been 30 minutes. This video is now 30 minutes long. I just wanted to upgrade the system. I wasn't really expecting to do this. This might take a while, but at least it downloads fast. Well, I believe it did. I just hold this thing in my hand. You could not find Gecko package. It kind of seems like it does this over and over again. And there's Steam too. I can put that on there. So if I was able to see this whole thing, it would be nice. Okay, so when I'm at the apartment, the internet's really slow, so it takes a little longer to install this. So that's the Blizzard Battle.net thing. I kinda wish it just like would take it off the other computer through a network. Just be easier. And there was an issue with 18 with where it would need a cache saved or loaded, and I didn't understand why it wouldn't load the game. It kept giving me a streaming error, and I think it was because the internet was just too slow. It wasn't necessarily anything else. For some reason, like when it uploads or installs at the apartment, it's like 1.8 gigabytes. See, so this is here, this little screen's here. Here's your login screen. So that's there, but this doesn't look done. Okay, so I'm just gonna wait for it to finish. Doesn't seem to say it needs Vulkan. I don't know if Vulkan is just not wanted anymore or what. They needed Vulkan for Steam. They usually just actually maybe that little bar at the top means something. So in this last 5 minutes I was just doing this. Just doing any more. There are settings. It shouldn't be loaded. Okay, we'll just like do this so you can't see what I'm doing. It's interesting how it just all suddenly appears. Okay, so I don't know what else is doing there, but we seem to be able to turn it on. So you can definitely install this on here. That actually works. I did have classic and that and other things. But yeah, it just gives you that you can put .NET owner. You can change settings here. Somewhere. Maybe make it faster. Slower or other things. It doesn't need to be on, so but now it's going faster. Okay. So now it's in there. I'll just click it, play, it will go right to that screen again. Eventually. So it does work in that sense. But yeah, I don't really want to mess with that. But yeah, Linux works perfectly fine on here. 8 gigabytes probably will be fine. We'll see how it does in one video. Anyways, it's just Happy MX Guy, and thanks for watching me install new items in this old Asus motherboard. It's the Asus M3A78 with a Phenom II X4 920. It's nothing fancy. And Ubuntu 20 is nothing fancy either. Anyway, thanks for watching.